Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for coming to the League of Women Voters and Harwich Voter Information Committee Contested Candidates Forum. We're pleased to hear from all the candidates for school board first, and then our second forum will be with two of the three candidates running for select board. My name is Tricia Murray. I'm the chair of the Harwich Voter Information Committee, and I'm joined here this evening by my colleagues on the committee, Joy Jordan, Emily Milan, and Pauline Tees. We're so thankful to the League of Women Voters for partnering with us on this every year. And I believe that our moderator will introduce herself, but this is Mary O'Connor and Rosemary Shields and Anita. I'm sorry I don't have your last name, but we really appreciate all you do for us. But without further ado, you didn't come to hear me. You came to hear from the candidates, so I'll pass it over to Mary.
Thank you, Tricia. We protect Anita. No last names. So good evening, and again, welcome to this forum. We're going to have the Monomoy Regional School District be first and the Harwich Select Board second. Please be sure you have silenced your cell phones and all other electronic devices. I'm going to give you a moment to do that. Notice I said check. At the last time I did a forum, I did this. And when I got home, I found neither of mine were on silent. And it's only by the grace of God no one called me during that time. I live in Eastham. I have nothing to do with this election. No conflicts of interest. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of the Cape Cod area. As you know, we're presenting this forum in collaboration with the Harwich Voter Information Committee. The League is a nonpartisan, activist grassroots organization for women and men. It encourages informed and active participation in government. This forum is part of the League's ongoing voter education efforts to help you make informed decisions at the upcoming elections. We hope this program will help you learn about the candidates and what they hope to do while representing you. Invitations were extended to all three candidates for the select board. Ms. Doucette was unable to attend due to a previous obligation. Invitations were also extended to candidates for the Water/Wastewater Commission. They each accepted. However, Ms. Underwood had to cancel because of a pressing family matter. We cannot proceed with a forum with just one candidate in a contested race, so we will not include that panel tonight. I reviewed our procedures for this event with the candidates earlier, and each candidate agreed to act in accordance with them. You will be the judge as well as me if they're behaving. They have 2 minutes to answer each question and 2 minutes for a closing statement. The closing statements will be presented according to the numbers pulled out of a hat. The questions will be answered by the first question will be answered by the next person in line. So you'll get it. When we only have two candidates, we alternate. When we have three candidates, we actually have a random generated grid that I use. They'll be alerted when they have 30 seconds left. There's going to be a yellow card that Anita will hold up. When they're finished, or should be finished, a stop sign is held up. They will be able to finish their sentence unless I think it's going on just a little bit too long. And then I will override saying thank you and move on to the next person. Now, personal references about the candidates are out of order. We stick to the issues. Campaign literature or signs are not allowed inside the room. References to campaign literature, endorsements, websites, phone numbers, and contact information are out of order. Please remain as quiet as your cell phone throughout the forum. No clapping or cheering or calling out, with the exception that after a panel has completed their closing statements, you may clap for all candidates if you wish. If I'm clapping, you're welcome to clap. Remember, we and the candidates expect they will be treated fairly. Now, you've been encouraged, and we are still accepting questions on the index cards provided. The questions have to be addressed to all of the candidates on the panel. They must apply to the issues or qualifications for their office, the one they're running for. Please write the name of the office at the top of the card, either school or select board. Raise your hand if you'd like another index card. I know your handwriting might not be the same as it used to be. Neither is my eyesight. So please write as legibly as possible. This forum is being recorded on the Harwich Government Cable Access Channel 18 and will be broadcast several times. The recording may not be used or edited in whole or in part by any campaign. A link to the program on the website is acceptable. But if the forum is aired after tonight's event, league policy dictates that it must be aired in its entirety. There's going to be a quiz. It's a behavioral quiz, and we'll talk about it at the end, all right? So let's begin. The candidates for the Monomoy Regional School District are Ryan Edwards, Breton Fortin, and Anne-Marie Varela. And we are going to start with, the envelope, please. We're going to start with Ryan. Why are you running for school committee?
So I'm running for school committee. I will wholeheartedly admit that I did not pay attention to anything with the school committee until December, when it was announced that there was going to be a change to the integrated preschool program for next year. Two of my children attended that integrated preschool program, and it allowed them to flourish in kindergarten. It's such a great program. So I didn't want any changes to occur with that. So I started paying attention. I spoke multiple times on that issue, wrote multiple emails to the school committee, even spoke in front of the select board on that issue. And sorry about that. So spoke on that issue multiple times. And then as I started paying more and more attention to the budget process, that kind of piqued my interest. I've always been a numbers person. So I felt that being a numbers person, I could be a part of the school committee and aid them in that regard. I also have 3 children under the age of 10. So I have a vested interest in making sure that the district continues to be the top notch that it is for years to come, because my children will be in the district for a long time, as well as everybody else's children. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be Brett.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brett Fortin. I'm running for the school committee because I believe that public schools are the foundation of a strong community, and that foundation has to be built with fairness, compassion, and common sense. I hope to work every day to make sure that our schools remain strong and accessible for all children in this community. I hope to advocate for programs that support children and working families in this town. I'd like to push for curriculums that give students a real shot at success after graduation, whether that means college, a career here, or something that's entirely different than that. I'll continue to press for more sustainable healthcare costs for staff, for fair funding agreements that protect our classrooms. Beyond that, I'm running because I see a bigger picture in our community. Families are struggling with housing, childcare, and wages. These aren't just economic problems, but they're educational problems too. If parents are working multiple jobs and can't afford housing, that affects our students. If families can't find a preschool spot or after-school care, that affects our students. I'm committed to collaboration. I'd like to work with local leaders, other town boards, and state partners to address the broader issues that are facing Harwich and Chatham. We need to think regionally on this, and I think that we need to think long-term, and we need to act with urgency. I'm not coming into this with any answers particularly. It's unfortunate for me. But I'm coming into this with priorities, a strong work ethic, and a deep commitment to doing the work. That's all.
Thank you. Anne Marie.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start by saying I've served the public my entire career. I've taught all grades, pre-K through 12, in mathematics in 6 different schools, 4 different districts. I serve as an advocate for students and families. I have 2 boys at the high school. One's currently an 8th grader. The other is a 9th grader. I know the strengths of the community and the schools. I believe that we have an opportunity to include students and families in the process. And I think that that's the piece that I really have a handle on. Well, I personally don't know every member of our school community. Those that I do know how deeply I care about their voice and their experience. And that is the message that I want to bring to the public eye, create transparency around what students and families are asking for, around the successes that we've had in the areas for improvement, and to really think about the continuous growth that comes from reflection and service, and to have the opportunity for young people to see us approach improvement in a way that is positive and that brings us together. I am a collaborative person. I believe in general that my success is tied to the success of others. And I strongly believe, I don't know if you saw, Tina Games made a report in a letter in the paper this week saying that she was grateful to serve. I strongly believe that I would be grateful to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. For question 2, the order for answers will be Anne Marie, Ryan, and Brett. And the question is, what are the major duties of the school committee? Anne Marie.
Sure. I see the school committee as a liaison between the schools and the public. I see them as communicators. I see them as decision makers. And decision makers where the decisions that are being made should be comprehensive, include informed, educated decisions, but also to think about the public that we serve and what they're asking for. I've heard from many at some forums recently, that don't have students in the school districts. And what I will say to you, I agree with Brett, it is the foundation of the work that we do as a community. But I also believe that we need to set the example. We need to model for our young people what community engagement looks like and how to act in settings of public office. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan.
So I'm going to go with the more literal duties of the school committee. And the first one is to hire and fire the superintendent. And this is very relevant. Superintendent Dr. Scott Carpenter recently announced that he is going to be moving on from the school district after next year. So the school committee has some enormous shoes to fill with him leaving. He's provided leadership for the district for a long time now. Tina Gaines pointed out at one of the school committee meetings that other school districts around the state are facing frequent turnover in the superintendent position, and we've been fortunate to have that steady guidance. The other thing that they do is create policies. So I want to be a part of the committee that makes sure that the policies work for all students in the district. And finally, the last thing, which is also going to be a big task, is the budget. I attended the joint meeting between the representatives from the Chatham Select Board and the Harwich Select Board. It's very clear there are some differences when it comes to how they feel the regional agreement should be issued. So that is something that we're going to have to tackle as the school board to reach an agreement that both sides can be comfortable with. And also, the Harwich Select Board made some requests to reduce the budget very late in the process. So I would like to make sure that they're a little bit more involved earlier in the process so we don't have that at the last minute. Thank you.
Thank you. Brett.
I think that this school committee has a lot of responsibilities. I think that primarily it's stewardship. I think that they are the caretakers of our region right now, and I think that that's a big task. I think that they're leaders and examples. I also think that they're supposed to be advocates, not just for students, but for teachers, custodians, and other support staff. Obviously, we set educational policy. We help guide student outcomes in our district. There's budget and resource allocation involved. But I think what I'd like to go back to is supporting our students and our staff. I think I'm a public works employee. I work for the Chatham DPW. I spend my entire day taking care of parks and cemeteries and the streets and roads of the town. And I'd like to continue to do that for other public employees as well. I'm the president of the Chatham Municipal Employees Association. It's the biggest and most diverse union in the town of Chatham. I've been advocating for public employees for a long time now, and I'd like to continue to do that here in Harwich. I hope that answers that question.
Thank you. The order for the next question will be Brett, Anne Marie, Ryan. And the question is, what is your vision for the school district? Brett.
We're lucky. We have a very good school district, and my vision really entails preserving that. I'd like to make it a little bit more accessible to people without resources. The average salary in this town for a working adult is $46,000 a year. 56% of the adults in this town do not have a college degree, and I would like to help change that for the people that come next. That's all.
Thank you. Anne Marie.
My vision for the future is increased transparency, where we showcase what our students are doing well, and we talk about where our students need to improve. Everything should be guided by student outcomes and how the students are performing as one of those decision-making characteristics. Additionally, I think we have an opportunity to be fiscally responsible. I think right now with the per pupil student expenditure at 22% higher than the state, we have some room for improvement, and I think we need to look at where that is. I've been doing this for a long time. I can tell you that there are places where we can use the experts from within to help save money. I also strongly believe in grant funding, and the governor is clearly a proponent of it for schools right now. There's grant funding on the table for things like career and innovation pathways. There's grant funding for mental health resources. There's grant funding for, planning for the future. I mean, I think we've probably all heard of the funding that's gone to Cape Cod Community College. There are opportunities to tap into some of the state funding. And finally, I believe in community partnerships. That's the piece where I've lived here 21 years. I mean, I'll go to the grocery store. It doesn't matter. There is a partnership with folks in the community that I think can't be replicated. We work together, we talk together, and we should be making the decisions together. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan.
Sure. I just want to start off by saying that the Monomoy Regional School District has a great reputation. We owe that to the past and current school committee who formed the region. They laid the foundation for where we are today, and I want to try to continue to make it the best school district even better. I do have to say that I feel that our teachers and staff in the district are top notch. I'm always in awe of the dedication every time I go to a school event. It's not only inside school hours while they're teaching our children, but the teachers and staff also host after-school clubs. And I even saw a teacher the other day that showed up at one of my daughter's sporting events. She didn't have any of her own children that were playing on the team, but she came to support some of the students in her class. So that's the type of dedication that our teachers have. So I want to continue to support our teachers. The school district recently just added, it's called a PUPS pre-K program in Chatham. So it's a full day school year preschool program. And I would love to advocate to try to get a similar program to that in the town of Harwich. So we would have a PUPS program in Harwich, Chatham, and then in addition to the integrated preschool. And I feel like if we can get to the children earlier on, that we can set them up for success in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. The order for the responses to the next question are Anne Marie, followed by Brett and Ryan. And the question is, what do you believe are the top 2 issues facing the school district? Anne Marie.
Yes, I alluded to this already, but I do believe that we need to increase transparency. I just took a survey today for DESE on how DESE is communicating, that's the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, how they are communicating data with the public. There are ways that some of us understand how to navigate the website to be able to find the pieces of data that are important. I believe we need more transparency around that so we understand what the outcomes are. We tie the outcomes to the work that we're doing, the decisions we've made, the initiatives we've implemented. And when it's not working, we adjust. And I think that that's a huge part of the transparency issue. I think sometimes, we talk about qualitative or, which are valuable, don't get me wrong, when we talk to students, but I'm a math teacher, I'm a numbers person, and for me, I want to see the data, and I want to see the data be accessible to everyone. And then, if we are really truly working with community partnerships, I want to see us soliciting feedback regularly from the public, asking parents and students about their experiences and what they would like to see change, to have the opportunity to participate in feedback surveys. As an educator, I did them all the time with families. I recommend with students, you do them 3 times a year. In addition to daily feedback, daily reflections on the work that we're doing in the classroom, but certainly a couple of times a year for educators to share their feedback about what's happening, and families. Thank you.
Thank you. Brett.
I think the top 2 issues facing the Monomoy district right now would be affordability, maybe sustainability would be a better word there, and equity between towns. This year's budget sees an increase in 6.5% on employee healthcare costs. That's pretty wild. Educators, custodians, support staff, and all of us in this town feel that pressure. We all pay for that. We need long-term reform there, and I know that that's a tough battle, but I think I'm willing to fight it. I'll work to find common sense solutions that protect people while keeping our schools strong. I also think that the second issue might be equity between the 2 towns. Harwich and Chatham are looking at changes to the funding agreement, as we know, and I think that we need to keep an eye on what matters most, and that's the students in our school. I'll make sure that I'll do my best, at least, to make sure that no child loses access to programs or support because of shifting formulas. The school committee's role, as I said, is stewardship and to be a guardian of the students' opportunities in both towns. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan.
Thank you. I alluded to it before, but the biggest issue that I think the Monomoy Regional School District is facing is the regional agreement. Like I said, I did attend that meeting with representatives from both Harwich and Chatham from the Select Board. It was very clear that the Harwich Select Board was not satisfied with the current funding formula. And at the same time, the Chatham Select Board does not want to change the current funding formula. So even before that meeting, I actually sent an email to the Harwich Select Board with a couple suggestions. So I would advocate for a cap on the foundational enrollment funding formula. The exact number of that cap would need to be negotiated between all parties involved. This would make the school budget assessment more predictable year over year without one town being assessed an increasingly larger percentage of the budget each year. And I think that cap would allow each town to continue to see the other town as good community partners. I would also advocate for the entire special education budget to be a part of the district budget. Currently, each town pays for all programs in their own elementary school. There are specific education programs offered at the Chatham Elementary School as well as the Harwich Elementary School. This has some students from Harwich going to Chatham, some students from Chatham going to Harwich. I just think it'd be more equitable. And then one of the other things that I think was very important that I also alluded to before is finding a replacement for Dr. Scott Carpenter. Again, like I said before, he's provided steady leadership since the district was formed, and we need somebody that'll be able to pick up what he's already built and continue to move the district forward. Thank you.
Thank you. The rotation for the next question is Ryan, followed by, Brett, followed by Ryan, followed by Anne Marie. And the question is, what is one currently untapped opportunity for the school district? Brett.
I think that the school district has an opportunity to be a broader voice in our community and to collaborate with other boards and committees in the town for a more holistic approach to our community. As I said before, housing and accessibility are a big issue for a lot of people, myself included. The average salary in this town, like I said before, is $46,000 a year, and I think that we are not providing enough access to the families that are struggling with that. We're not providing enough opportunities for them to engage in committees, to take part in our town's activities, to take part in town meeting. And I think that we need to be there for the people that are the majority of this town. I think that the school committee needs to represent the community as it is. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan.
I think one of the uncapped opportunities has to do with diversity and equity. So the school put together a diversity and equity committee, and actually they had a federal grant, which unfortunately the funding was recently cut with that. So I would like to see us explore other opportunities for funding. I haven't looked into it, but I'm hoping maybe we can find some funding at the state level that we may be able to continue that. Our district in the town of Harwich has a large population that I think could be better served, and I would like to see that moving forward.
Thank you. Anne Marie.
An uncapped area for the school district has to do with healthcare. And I have my 83-year-old mom that lives with me, and we can't find in-home nursing care. It is impossible for me to arrange it for her on a part-time basis. It's not a full-time need. But so the uncapped need is within the schools to be building the programming. So a few years back, you may have seen where the district had started an initiative to build the teacher pool, right, to teach students in school what they're going to need and to lay out pathways for them in the future to become teachers. The state has also jumped on that. Most recently, presenting students with opportunities to move from instructional aides / paraprofessional roles and get funding to advance their careers. I do think that there is a place for students at the high school level to dive deeper into healthcare programming. I know we have a phenomenal teacher that is interested in it. We looked at grant-funded curriculum, and the state has just released that they're coming out with a huge grant fund opportunity for schools to grow their healthcare programming curriculum. So I just think we need to take advantage of it. I know there are students who are currently participating in internships in local organizations on the Cape, and that is one opportunity to grow that partnership and build from within. Thank you.
Thank you. The rotation for the next question is Ryan, Anne Marie, and Brett. And the question is, what is your position on initiatives aimed at restricting books in school libraries and classroom libraries? Ryan,
Do you mind just reading that question one more time?
what is your position on initiatives aimed at restricting books in school libraries and classroom libraries?
I will say that I am completely opposed to restricting books in the library. I feel that we need to have all of the the information accessible. It shouldn't only be accessible based on one person or a board's certain views. I think that allowing a student to explore every opportunity that they are interested in will lead to growth. So I don't think that we should restrict their access if it's something they're interested in. Thank you.
Thank you. Anne Marie.
So this has come up a lot in my career. There are things that we know about teaching students to read that have to do with voice and choice. If we don't give students the opportunity to select books that they want to read for pleasure, they will not read for pleasure. So we have to provide them with opportunities for access to books that meet with their needs. Additionally, communication with families around this is really important. And so I go back to transparency and building the relationship with families so that it isn't a surprise when there's a book being admitted to the library that a family might not agree with. Let's talk about it. One of the things that I recommend is to create committees with the school community around book selection so that this is a process where people have the opportunity to have their voice heard. We can make decisions. We can disagree. We can all agree to disagree, but we need to make decisions that are in the best interest of our students, and we need to provide them with opportunities for reading material that meet with their needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Brett.
I don't think there's ever been a time in history when banning books has been on the good side of things. I am opposed to restricting books for our students. That's all.
Thank you. The rotation for the next question is Ryan, followed by Brett and Anne Marie. What is your position on using state taxpayer funds for private schools and/or religious schools? Ryan.
This is an interesting one. I've never really thought about this before, so this is going to be off the cuff. I believe that state taxpayer funds should mostly be used for public schools, charter schools, things of that nature. For private schools as well as religious schools, I feel like they have other funding sources. I feel like public schools, charter schools are continuously struggling to find funding. So I'd hate to have some of the money for them siphoned off for these programs that have other funding opportunities through endowments and grants. Thank you.
Thank you. Brett.
I don't know that there should be funding for places that aren't open to everyone. If we're all paying for it, all of our children should be allowed to attend. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Anne Marie.
I am the child of a public school educator, and I went to Catholic school. I went to 12 years of Catholic school. I understand that people feel very strongly about their faith. I'm a member of the church community here on Cape Cod, and I have strong feelings about my faith. I don't feel like school is the place to have those conversations. I feel like public education should be about teaching students the skills that they're going to need in life. If spirituality is something that's important to your family, you can pay to send them to a school that you feel is appropriate, that is going to give them that kind of nurturing. I have to say, we're taking money off the table for funding research, funding health programs, funding development, and we're going to talk about giving that money to private and Catholic schools that are typically funded by the families who choose to send their students there. I can't get behind that. Thank you.
Thank you. The rotation for the next question is Anne Marie, followed by Ryan, and then Brett. Do you feel that diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives or programs and lessons have any place at Monomoy Regional School District? Anne Marie.
Yes. I participated in the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee for Monomoy Regional School District. I have lots of friends who have children who don't feel the sense of belonging that I think we want them to feel in classrooms. I think this has to do with education. I think this has to do with experience. And I think we have to look at how to make classrooms places where students feel that they belong and they feel like they're safe. And so diversity, equity, and inclusion are core values of mine. They are beyond what we teach. They teach others to be good to one another. And, you know, I mean, maybe this is my Catholic upbringing, but the reality is I expect that my children and the children that they spend time with are going to treat others with kindness, respect, and to actually really welcome the difference in perspectives. And I think that that's the piece that when you have a DEI committee, it is about perspective. Everybody is entitled to their opinion and their perspective. Your life, your culture is based on your experiences. And so hopefully young people will learn to grow their perspective by listening to one another. And again, I'm really optimistic that this school committee can be a model for our young people about how to do that work through collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan.
Thank you. I do feel it is very important to have DEI in the school district. I would actually advocate that we teach about all holidays and culture within the district. I think this would provide our students with a more well-rounded worldview. I think if you are only exposed to one certain viewpoint, you kind of remain focused on that one viewpoint. Whereas if from a young age we can start to teach them about all cultures, I think that it would actually turn them into better citizens. And I actually think that it would be a good opportunity. So students who have different cultures, different holidays, if they were to teach their classmates about those within the classroom, it's an opportunity for them to get up in front of the class, teach them about something that they might be very interested in, and I believe it would create an opportunity for them to educate their peers. Thank you.
Thank you. Brett.
I think that this issue is really about kindness, respect, compassion, and fairness. It's also about teaching the truth and what's really happening in our world. Whether we like a group of people or we like an idea, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and our children shouldn't be prepared to encounter it. I think that there's a lot of opportunity to expand access to enrichment and support regarding these topics. I think that we can strengthen our special education, emotional and social learning, and inclusion in many opportunities across our town. I think that it's important that our school reflects all voices and prepares people to live in this actual world, not this narrative sometimes that we like to create. I think, again, that it's important that we teach the truth about what is happening around us. And sometimes that includes ideas that we're uncomfortable with. Thank you.
Thank you. The rotation for the next question is Brett, followed by Anne Marie, followed by Ryan. And the question is, how do you intend to address the issue of affordability for early childhood education and preschool or pre-K?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
How do you intend to address the issue of affordability for early childhood education and preschool/pre-K?
I think a lot of this goes back to the way that we're allocating funds in the district and the advocacy work that we do outside of those issues. I think that a lot of the funding shortfalls that we run into stem from access to health care for staff. I think that a lot of the funding for those things can be increased by attending to the real issues that take away from it. I think that early childhood education is very important in this community. It would help keep working families in the workforce. It would help lay a better foundation for children later on as they grow. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Anne Marie.
I really feel strongly about pre-K education. The literacy results are that students who have exposure to pre-kindergarten, and by the way, the state does put out a pre-kindergarten curriculum. So many preschool programs now have standards and expectations about what's happening in that program. My children both went to preschool. They went to multiple years of preschool because I had to get back to work. And they are well-rounded in terms of their ability to meet others with compromise, as well as to meet their academic responsibilities. My boys have been on the honor roll most of their academic careers, and I attribute that to the early education that they received. I also served for Chatham Elementary School as a math interventionist for 2 years, and in that role, it was clear to me that there was a need for protocols and assessments to be able to guide the work that we were going to do with students who were behind where they needed to be. And that work was ongoing, and we would assess regularly to see the students had made progress. But early intervention is a huge part of early childhood education. So if you don't have your child in a program prior to kindergarten, and they have a learning disability, they are at a disadvantage, almost a year behind, before they can get caught up based on enrollment dates, timing of intervention and assessments. So I can't say enough about the pre-K experience and what that teaches young people. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan.
Sure. Like I alluded to before, I would advocate for a PUPS pre-K program in the town of Harwich. So like I said before, we have the integrated preschool, which is made up of students with disabilities as well as peers. But they also created that new PUPS pre-K program in Chatham. So I would advocate with the select board, because obviously it would need to be funded, that we create that same program in the town of Harwich. Currently, there is grant programs for families to put their kids in preschools. So I would like to keep that in addition to the PUPS pre-K program. So that program may be better suited for families that need year-round preschool, as well as maybe a little bit longer hours than the PUPS pre-K program, because that one is just school hours, school year. And I think if we can get to these students earlier in their upbringing, that we may be able to reduce some of the services we have to provide them once they get into kindergarten and grade school. So if we can get to them early in the preschool, I think we give them a better opportunity to be good educators starting in kindergarten. Thank you.
Thank you. The rotation for the next question is Anne Marie, followed by Brett, followed by Ryan. And the question is, what is your position on banning cell phones in classrooms for all grades? Anne Marie.
Thank you. Monomoy has a pretty good system in place, I'll be honest. I haven't seen the system elsewhere. At the high school level, students turn in their cell phone at the beginning of class. They have sort of like a shoe organizer caddy in the front of the room, and they are expected to drop their phone into a slot in the caddy and leave it there for class. They pick it up at the end of class, and they move on to the next class. Classes are no more than 3 minutes for passing time between classes. It leaves very little time for students to have the opportunity to be on their phones. I think banning without education doesn't teach them much, right? So I think we must tie whatever policies we're going to put into place with education, with why. What is it doing to the brain? What is your experience going to be like? How is it going to be different? I mean, there are plenty of schools that are actually banning them right now. I think we're going to have some data to look at about the effectiveness of it. But I really do think this is something that we can't just say, well, you know, we didn't have cell phones when we were in school, so they're not going to have them. Oftentimes, and I've taught classes where we ask students to use technology to help them. So we might require that students, when we poll them in the class and we're looking for data, that they have their cell phone. If it's in the front of the room in the caddy, we can have them get it and bring it back. There's some flexibility allowed. And I will say, students in the program that I currently work in don't have phones with them all day. They don't miss it. They socialize. You know, they have an opportunity to get to know one another. So I'm hopeful they'll see that as the value. Thanks.
Thank you. Brett?
I don't think that it's realistic that we would ever be able to effectively ban cell phone usage in a school. They banned Pokemon cards when I was in school, and we still did that. I think that the school system currently does have a very good system. I would agree with that. I think that it's appropriate to not have your phone with you during class, but this is a different world than when anybody in this room went to school, all right? And communication with your parents or potentially calls for help at this point are a reality, all right? We have to make sure that people are safe, and cell phones provide a little bit of opportunity for that. Again, I don't think it's realistic that we could ever ban them fully from schools. They will continue to happen. So we just have to be responsible. We have to teach about the effects of them. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan?
I would agree with the previous two speakers that I believe we do have a pretty good system in place. Like they said, there is essentially a shoe closet on the back of the door so they can slip their phones in. And I agree with that. I think that cell phones can be a distraction in the classroom. I think it opens up for a little more cheating if they were able to do that. So I advocate, you know, having them in the front of the classroom. That way they can stay attentive to the lesson plan. But then, like you advocate or talked about, in between classes, they can use it. They can text a family if, you know, sporting events change, practice gets canceled. They can still communicate. But I think limiting the use in the classroom is something that's worthwhile. Thank you.
Thank you. The rotation for the last question is Brett, Ryan, Anne Marie. How do you feel about proposals that require the 10 Commandments be posted in classrooms? Would you like to see that in Harwich? Brett?
No.
Thank you. Ryan?
I would echo that. No, I believe there's the separation of church and state for a reason. And I think, you know, it's fine to have the 10 Commandments posted in Bible study and classes such as that. But I think in a public education system, I don't believe that's appropriate.
Thank you. Anne Marie?
Catholic girl. But I do think it's a little beyond what we need to be doing in schools. And honestly, posting them in the room, I told you I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I couldn't tell you all 10 right now. So the reality is, even if they're posted and they're there, that doesn't mean people are embodying the 10 Commandments. So again, we have to talk to our young people, talk about what, you know, I can remember being in kindergarten classrooms where they were talking about, and they didn't refer to it as the golden rule, but clearly it was about treat others the way you want to be treated. And, you know, when we teach young people the behaviors that demonstrate what's in the 10 Commandments, then we've won. Posting something on the wall is not going to achieve anything. And the reality is, it feels like we're forcing it on kids. And I know from experience, when kids feel like you're forcing things on them, they're not going to do it. So I believe the conversations are important with young people around how we treat one another, not what's posted on the wall. Thank you.
Thank you. We now move on to closing statements. Our first closing statement will be from Brett, followed by Anne Marie, followed by Ryan. Brett,
I don't like going first.
it's first or not at all.
Well, again, my name is Brett Fortin, and I'm running for a seat on the Monomoy Regional School Committee because I believe that our schools should work for everyone in this community, not just the families with extra time, money, or connections, but also the ones who are doing everything they can just to get by. I've lived here for 8 years. I'm a full-time public works employee in the town of Chatham. I'm a union president representing public employees, and I'm a father. My daughter's just beginning her education here in the Monomoy district, and I want her and every child to be part of a school system that gives them resources. I'm running because I believe in public education. I believe it works best when everyone has a voice at the table, and I'd like to be a representative for the families who are doing their best, for the parents who care deeply but feel shut out of a system that was not built with them in mind. I don't come from a traditional background. I don't come from money or privilege. But I bring something just as important, and that's real life experience, work ethic, and a deep commitment to our community. I intend to show up for the district. I intend to listen, and I intend to fight for what matters. If you'd like someone who understands the struggles of working families in this town, who's had to use a lot of the services that these committees advocate for, then I'm asking for your support, and I'd be honored to earn this role. Thank you.
Thank you. Anne Marie.
Well, first, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters of Cape Cod for hosting this event. And I'd also like to start by saying thank you to our service members, veterans, and their families for the sacrifices they made for the freedoms that we all enjoy. The impetus for me running for school committee is children, and to be an advocate for children. I strongly believe that the need for their needs and perspectives to be heard. Well, and again, I talked about the desire for continuous growth, both personal and institutional. I actively identify areas for improvement with partnership with community members in order to develop effective strategies for progress. Building trusting relationships is a cornerstone of my approach. I believe that psychological safety, where individuals feel free to take risks, make mistakes, and grow, is essential for real progress. I'm motivated by meaningful collaboration, and I firmly believe that through shared engagement and intentional action planning, we can tackle the complex work necessary to achieve long-term success for all. I talked a little bit about the roles that I've served. I believe in fostering intellectually creative environments, supporting educators in implementing evidence-based instructional practices, strengthening fiscal responsibility through data-driven decision-making, facilitating professional development while enhancing community partnerships, and collaborating extensively with school leaders, departments, and learning communities focused on inclusivity and cultural responsiveness. Harwich is a beautiful, incredible place to live, and I hope to serve this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan.
Thank you. Again, my name is Ryan Edwards, 40 years old. I was born and raised on the Cape, moved to Harwich in 2008. Like I spoke about earlier, I have 3 children that are under the age of 10. So my children will be in this school district for years to come. So I have a vested interest in the continued success of the district, not just for my children, but for all the children in the district. Like I said before, I've always been a numbers person, so I enjoy analyzing and breaking down data. I think that this is a skill that I can use as a member of the school committee. I hope that the voters get a chance to watch my public comment during the January school committee meetings. That's the type of critical analysis that I will bring to the school committee. I also understand that there's a big task ahead for the school committee. one of the things that we're going to have to tackle coming up is reaching an agreement between the two towns on the regional agreement. I think we have to solve that difference in order to move forward as a district. I also understand the importance of finding a new superintendent to take over after Dr. Carpenter moves on at the end of next school year. He left big shoes to fill, and we'll need to find somebody similar to him that can build on the foundation that he left and continue the success of the school district moving forward. With that, I just ask that you vote for me, Ryan Edwards, on May 20th. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will start the select board forum at 6:35.